How many stories are left unfinished? How many questions are left hanging in the air, unanswered, year after year? For thousands of families, the silence that follows an unsolved crime is the loudest sound in the world. Welcome to the Couch Crime Story. Today we travel back to Jacksonville, Florida, to the fall of 2009. We're going to tell you the story of Clifford Backmann, a man who went to work one Saturday and never came home. It's a story of a brutal, senseless crime, a case that quickly went cold, and a family that refused to let his memory fade into silence. October 10th, 2009. In Jacksonville, along a quiet stretch of commercial properties, the day was unfolding like any other. But at 6960 Bonneville Road, this date would become a permanent marker of a deep and tragic loss. It was here that Clifford Backmann was working, attending to his duties alone, completely unaware of the violence that was about to shatter the quiet solitude of his workplace. In a brutal and swift sequence of events, he was robbed and then fatally shot. These are the stark, established facts of the crime, the unchangeable core of a story that remains painfully incomplete. To honor the facts, we must stick to what is known. We know the victim, Clifford Backmann. We have the location, 6960 Bonneville Road. We know the date, October 10th, 2009, and we understand the violent nature of the crime that took place. These components come together to define the incident for what it is, a confirmed and deeply troubling, unsolved homicide. It is a case that, despite the passage of years, continues to demand answers and cry out for a resolution that has yet to arrive. The investigation started here, but the story is far from over. In the immediate aftermath, the official investigation into the death of Clifford Backmann began. Law enforcement descended upon the scene to secure the area and to begin the painstaking process of piecing together the final moments of Cliff's life. But from the very outset, this case was shrouded in difficulty. It is a stark and unavoidable fact that despite the determined efforts of law enforcement, Clifford Backmann's murder remains unsolved to this day. The case file is open, but the final chapter is unwritten, its pages filled with more questions than answers. Detectives from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office began with the crime scene itself. Every surface, every object, every potential piece of evidence was examined, cataloged, and collected. The search for forensic evidence, fingerprints, DNA, ballistics, was paramount. Simultaneously, they canvassed the area, speaking to anyone in nearby businesses who might have seen or heard something out of the ordinary, no matter how insignificant it might have seemed. But the trail grew cold. There were no significant breakthroughs. The absence of a clear suspect, a confession, or a definitive forensic match meant that each passing day made the path to justice more difficult to navigate. Eventually, the initial urgency was replaced by the persistent, grinding work of a long-term inquiry. And then, the case was officially designated cold, a painful but necessary transition when all available leads have been exhausted. It's a quiet, administrative term for a loud, unending nightmare for a family. To understand the full weight of this crime, we must shift our focus away from the cold facts of the investigation and toward the warmth of the life that was stolen. We need to understand the man, not just the victim. This is a portrait of Clifford Backmann. Through family photos, we see a life lived with purpose and connection. In one picture, he's surrounded by family at a holiday gathering, his expression one of content familiarity. In another, he's outdoors, suggesting a love for nature. These images show a man grounded in his world, connected to those he loved, a person of substance and quiet dignity. He was not defined by his death. He was defined by the life he led and the people he led. Every laugh captured in a candid snapshot, every formal pose in a family portrait, becomes a poignant reminder of what was taken. His story is one of a father, a community member, a man whose existence mattered deeply, and whose absence leaves an unfillable void. The profound impact of an unsolved murder creates a vacuum where closure should be. For Clifford Backmann's family, the absence of answers was not an ending, but the beginning of a long journey. This is where the story pivots. It becomes a narrative of resilience, a testament to the human spirit's capacity to build something meaningful from the ruins of devastating loss. The silence that follows a cold case can be deafening, But for the Backman family, it eventually became a call to action. This was a path forged through pain and frustration, led by his own son Ryan, who understood the intimate reality of living with an unsolved homicide. And from that raw, unfiltered experience, a new purpose was built. In the organization's own words, there is one simple, direct, and powerful statement. His death is what brought Project Cold Case to life. The mission was forged with absolute clarity, to provide a platform for other families wrestling with the loss of a loved one to an unsolved homicide. To give visibility to cases that have faded from the headlines, and to ensure the victims are remembered as individuals, not statistics. It's incredible how one family's tragedy can create a legacy of hope for so many others. Project Cold Case is a powerful example of that. If you know of an organization making a real difference in your community, tell us about them in the comments below. Let's use this space to share some light. And so, this story concludes where it began, with a question that demands an answer. The homicide case of Clifford Backmann remains unsolved, a painful reality his family lives with every single day. The search for justice is not over, it is ongoing. The hope for a resolution, however distant, has never been extinguished. This case is more than a file, it's a family's history, a father's memory, and a son's mission. And it's a reminder that behind every cold case, there are people still waiting, still hoping, and still fighting for the truth. The key to solving this case could be with someone who saw something, heard something, or knows something. Time can loosen tongues and change loyalties. Someone out there has the answer. If you have any information, no matter how small it may seem, about the murder of Clifford Backmann on October 10, 2009, in Jacksonville, Florida, please do the right thing. You can contact the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office or leave an anonymous tip with First Coast Crime Stoppers. We'll have the numbers and links for you in the description below. Thank you for joining us here at the Couch Crime Story. If this story touched you, please give this video a like. It truly helps the channel, and more importantly, it helps raise awareness for Cliff's case. And if you haven't already, please subscribe so you don't miss our future deep dives into cases that deserve to be heard. We'll leave you with one final question. What are your thoughts on how we, as a community, can better support the families of cold case victims? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, stay aware and never stop seeking the truth.